This video is kindly sponsored by Ruby Cup. More on them later. Today I want to share with you 10 small changes that can greatly simplify your life, and I'm very excited about these because they are relatively small and easy to implement, but they have made such a huge difference for me in my life, just making my days easier, smoother, more enjoyable and more meaningful. Often when we want to make big changes, we feel like our actions also need to be big or complicated in order to work, but really I find that oftentimes the magic is in the smaller everyday things, finding simple solutions that work for you. So let's get started. The first small change that you can make is to get in the habit of never saying yes to things immediately and always replying with "I will think about it and I'll get back to you." In a world that's always about more, it is so important to know when you want to say yes to things and when you want to say no. But as much as we know that saying no every once in a while is important, it's not always easy, especially when you're being put on the spot. When I was still in my corporate job, I started practicing with this trick and I have never looked back. And now it is very rare that I have something in my calendar that I said yes to that I really don't want to do or that I don't see any value in. And that has greatly helped me to live a more simple, meaningful life. So whatever happens, whoever is asking, get in the habit of not saying yes right away, but replying with something like, "Oh yeah, I'll think about it and I'll get back to you." And even if you expect that you're going to want to say yes, practice saying this first. This gives you a bit of a buffer between, the moment when you're being asked and your reply. So instead of being tempted to just say yes because otherwise, maybe it's a little awkward or you feel pressured or something else, you have some time to think it over and make an intentional decision. The thing I sometimes struggle with is if I'm talking with someone and it's a pleasant conversation, I feel like optimistic and enthusiastic and I will immediately say yes because I think like, oh, why not? I don't see any problems with it. But then, when I think about it later, I feel like, okay, maybe I was a little, overconfident, or it's actually really not something I will enjoy, or it's not convenient for me, things like that. So get in the habit of just always replying, you will think about it, and then actually make sure that you do get back to that person later that day or the next day. Like, don't make them wait, of course, that's not very nice. But this gives you just that little bit of buffer zone, and it also helps with practicing saying no because it gives you some time to actually go over what you want to say. The next thing I did that really helped me to simplify things is to shorten my backlog in life. And by backlog, I mean things that I still want to watch, read, do, cook, listen to, whatever it is. Like, take your Netflix watch list as an example. It might sound like not very important, but we get in the habit of just adding all kinds of things on there, and after a while it can be a little stressful because there's too many options and we know that we'll never have time to watch them all. Or when you keep buying new books even though you haven't even read all the ones that you have now. I'm an avid reader, but I never buy new books until I've read all the books that I still want to read. So if I've read them all, then maybe I'll buy like 3 or 4 new ones, then I'll read all of those, and then I'll get new ones. So I never buy new books when I also have books that I haven't read yet, because that would mean adding them to my backlog. A good friend of mine recently made a comment that really made me think, and it was about how so many things nowadays are skippable. So there are so many choices that the way we approach things is very much like skip, skip, skip. So when we listen to music, we might skip songs halfway through, or if we're watching a show, if it doesn't grab our attention within the first 5 minutes, we skip it. We even skip through people on dating apps. And that has to do with the overabundance of choices and options and how that negatively impacts our patience. So I always feel so much calmer if I don't have that endless backlog of things to choose from and things that I still want to do. I will keep it short and simple so it doesn't overwhelm me. So if you feel like this, make it a goal to, use up all of the things that you still have on your backlog, read all your books or watch all your shows, and only putting new things on there when you've finished all the ones on there now. Number 3 is to simplify your workout routine. When it comes to exercising, there is so much information out there, and there are so many opinions of people saying you need to do it like this, you need to do it like that, and it all can sound like we need to get into all of these complicated routines and really optimize things to get the best results. But really what I found to be the most effective thing is to make exercising and moving your body easy and easy to implement into your daily life. And when it comes to that, I think the simpler the better. And this is also where the complexity bias comes in. This is our tendency to prefer complicated solutions over easy ones, because if they are more complicated, then they must be better. And this complexity bias is how we can very easily overcomplicate our lives in many ways. And when it comes to exercising, I personally believe that we don't need complicated regimens or fancy equipment or anything like that. Whatever helps you to move your body frequently, that you find the easiest and the most enjoyable, that is the thing that you should be doing. My workout routine is super simple and completely free. I don't pay any money for it. All I have is my yoga mat and a few small props like some weights. And I just do my workouts in my living room with YouTube. Of course, we're all different. Maybe you love going to the gym, or maybe you love to go, I don't know, swimming or play tennis or something. But for me, this works because I don't have to go to the gym. I don't even have to leave my house. I can just get out my yoga mat, do a like 20-30 minute workout, take a shower, and I'm done. This is what helps me to easily fit exercising into my schedule, and that is what helps me to keep it up in the long run. I've also begun doing a like early morning long walk about 3 times a week, and that is also really nice. So my point is, whatever helps you to fit it into your schedule easily, whatever you enjoy the most, that is what you should be doing, and you don't need anything basically other than that. Just whatever helps you to keep it up in the long run and that keeps it fun for you. And here's a bonus tip when it comes to feeling good in your body, and that is to simplify your periods, which is where Ruby Cup comes in, who is sponsoring this video. So going on my period is already challenging enough as it is, and if there's anything I can do to simplify my period and make it more comfortable, then I'm all for it. Ruby Cup makes reusable period products like cups and reusable underwear, and after using their absorbent underwear myself, I never want to go back to using pads. These are so much more comfortable and they are reusable for over 5 years. These pants can absorb equal to the amount of 3 tampons, and crazy enough, they will still feel dry to the touch, and the absorbent part goes all the way up to the back, so I always feel very safe and secure wearing these. I have not leaked once with these, not even at night, which is so nice. It's just one less thing to have to worry about when you're on your period. At first I was a little apprehensive about washing them, but it is so much easier than I thought. Just rinse them under the sink and throw them in the wash. They dry super quickly and that's it. I love how Ruby Cup thinks of everything when it comes to their impact, so they use eco-friendly packaging and shipping. They've also donated more than 150,000 Ruby Cups to people without access to safe period products, and these period pants also finance their educational center in Kenya. Their sizes range from extra small to 4XL. I have the 1XL size myself, and they're also certified with the 100 standard Ecotex, which means that you don't have to worry about any harmful chemicals. I definitely recommend giving these a try. They've been a game changer for me, and it is so much easier than I had thought. So if you use my link in the description box and my code Vera15, then you can get 15% off. Big thanks to Ruby Cup. Let's get back to the video. The next small change that you can make to greatly simplify your life is to just decrease the amount of clothing items that you own. Unless you already have a super minimal wardrobe, of course, and I'm not necessarily talking here about improving your wardrobe or finding your style or creating a capsule wardrobe or anything like that, because I actually don't think that that is a very small or easy thing to change. At least for me, I still get confused about this, so I wouldn't call that easy. But what can be easy is to simply just decrease the amount of clothing items you own by decluttering The easy ones, like the low-hanging fruit, so to speak. Which items do you just really never or hardly ever wear? Which items are just not in good condition anymore? Which items are extremely uncomfortable when you put them on? Which items just really don't fit you anymore? Also get rid of any socks or underwear that have seen better days. There's nothing quite as satisfying as that, in my opinion. If you have less items cluttering up your closet like that, it is just so much easier to see what it is that you actually own. And for me, it has also decreased my urge to go shopping or to buy new things, because crazy enough, the more clothing items I had in my closet, the more I felt like I had nothing to wear. So fewer clothing items just makes it easier to figure out what you're going to wear. It makes laundry easier. It makes everything easier. So it's just a really great thing to do. Number 5 is to simplify gift giving. Gift giving can be fun, but depending on how you go about it, it can also be quite stressful and complicated. And I find that one of the things that has really helped me to simplify my life and my relationship with people and my time during the holiday season is to just make the whole gift giving situation a bit easier and to talk about it with people. And it's not even about the money per se, unless you're in the habit of usually just buying rather expensive gifts. But it is more so about the stress. The holiday season used to be a little stressful for me, just scouring the stores for things that hopefully someone will like, and you know, the crowds, the pressure. It's just a lot. So my boyfriend and I have decided to give each other a gift on our birthdays, and sometimes that's a material thing. If we can actually think of something that we want, then we will ask each other. Oftentimes it's also just doing something fun together, but we don't do anything for our anniversary or for Valentine's or for the holidays or anything like that. I do like getting people a gift sometimes, but it is more spontaneous. So if I happen to think of something that I know that person would love, or if I come across something, then I might get it for them as a gift, but it's more like when I feel inspired to do so and not because there's a holiday or like an obligation. You could talk about it with people, and just to make the whole process a lot easier and simpler. Number 6, have fewer bags. Super simple, but so helpful. I remember when I had a ton of different bags and purses. First of all, I was always losing things because I couldn't remember like which bag I had put it in. I also kept forgetting to bring things like my wallet or my public transportation card because they were still in another bag. Or I would just use the same bag like 99% of the time anyway, because I just didn't want to go through the trouble of taking everything out and putting it in another bag. And then I felt guilty for not using all of those bags that I had spent so much money on. And I felt like, you know, I should switch them out more and accessorize them more. The whole thing just became so much simpler when I became a one-bag woman. So I have one backpack. It is my daily backpack. I use it almost all of the time. And I just keep things in there like my sunglasses and sunscreen and my public transportation card, because it is the bag that I will use. So all of that stuff just goes in there. It goes with everything that I own, and it's really easy and simple. I also have one smaller bag that I will take with me if I'm going somewhere a bit fancier, don't want to bring a backpack. And I have one larger backpack that I use for when I'm traveling or sometimes when I go grocery shopping. But yeah, 99% of the time I will use my one backpack. I bought it 4.5 years ago, and it is still in good condition even after wearing it for so often. And I will just use up this bag until it is completely worn out. Then I will get one new bag to replace it with and use that for years. Much easier and also much nicer on your wallet, because it's just one less thing to shop for. Number 7 is to decrease your subscriptions. There are so many nowadays, it is quite easy to lose track of them or to have a bunch of them that you're paying for that you're not even really using. So this goes for any like free digital stuff like newsletters. Cancel them if you're not actually reading them. Magazine subscriptions, you can cancel those if they're just like sitting there unread. Streaming services, maybe just have one of them, and when you've seen everything that you want to see on there, cancel it and get another one. Also think about food delivery subscriptions, flower subscriptions, things like that. Just the less that comes into your home, into your mind, into your inbox, into your phone, the easier your life will be. So try to be intentional and only keep the ones that actually do bring you value. And I find that it also just really helps me to decrease that urge to continually buy new things or go shopping, because you cannot want what you didn't see. Number 8 is to start prioritizing practicality over aesthetics. When I started to prioritize things being practical and easy over how they looked, my life instantly became a lot simpler. Simple example, we use placemats when we eat to protect our table, because I don't want any like curry stains or pesto stains or anything on our beautiful table, so we use placemats. But the ones I got were these, and they're not very pretty, especially when you compare it to those beautiful cloth ones that they also have, but they are so practical. With the cloth ones, you need to wash them, and I don't know about you, but I find that curry stains and pesto stains and spaghetti sauce stains and things like that are super hard to get out. And with these plastic ones, just rinse them under the sink and they are clean. It is so easy. This is just one example, but it goes for everything. I also especially use it for clothing if things need to be hand washed or ironed or, you know, require special care. I usually don't go for them, even if they look very beautiful, because it's just a lot of hassle. And sometimes you may want something that is very pretty and you don't mind the fact that it takes a bit more effort to maintain it and to clean it, because it's worth it for you, and then that's absolutely fine too, of course. Another small change that I made that greatly helped me to simplify my life is to re-examine my beauty routine. So when it comes to the things that we do for our hair and skin and makeup and all that stuff, it's usually we do things because we're used to doing them like that. Like we've done them for years and we don't really think about it anymore. But when you really re-examine it, maybe there are a few steps that you can easily skip to save yourself time, money, and energy. So every once in a while, just get in the habit of going over all the steps that you do for your hair, your nails, your skin, your makeup, and ask yourself, like, is that step really necessary? Does it make a difference? Do I have to buy that more expensive thing, or can I buy something less expensive? Just kind of trying to see if you can make it a bit more low maintenance. One example is that I used to get highlights in my hair for years, and eventually I wanted to stop doing that. I asked my hairdresser and she replied with something like, yeah, but your hair color, your natural hair color is quite like dull and flat, so it wouldn't look very good. And I actually kept up getting the highlights for years after that, even when I stopped wanting to. And now I haven't dyed my hair in many years. This is my natural color. I think it looks fine. And it's so much simpler because now when I go to the hair salon, I'm out of there within 30 minutes. So it saves me time, it saves me money, it saves me energy, and it's less damaging for my hair. And the last small change that you can make to greatly simplify your life is to try and avoid drama when you can. By drama, I mean complaining, gossiping, just any like negative drama with coworkers or family members or neighbors about things that really are not very important. But for example, also choosing just not to engage in any like annoying political discussions with people if you don't see any value in that, or you know, annoying coworkers who are always gossiping and complaining about stuff, just kind of distancing yourself from the drama a bit and not engaging in it. I have learned that even if we don't notice it, we actually create or invite some of the drama in our life ourselves. And if we can choose to live a more drama-free life, then you will see that drama follows you less and less, because drama likes to feed off each other, and if you don't engage with it, you know, it goes elsewhere. So your life is going to be a lot less full of drama if you just choose to live a more drama-free life. You don't have to fix other people. You don't really have to convince anyone else of your opinion. You don't have to make snap judgments about people based on like small things and then gossip or complain about them. That's like, you don't have to do any of those things. And of course you cannot control other people's actions, but you can choose just not to engage with it as much, or how much time you're spending with people who are creating a lot of drama in your life. Once I realized this, I actually realized that I sometimes was complaining and gossiping quite a bit about things, and I really didn't like that about myself. I really made an effort to stop doing that and to disengage from the drama, and my life is now much calmer because of it, and I just learned to just mind my own business more, basically. What is a small change that you made that really helped you to simplify your life and improve it in some way? I would love to know, so please leave that in the comments. And if you want more videos from me, consider joining us on Patreon. Patreon is another platform where I post exclusive videos. So I post 2 a month over there, and there are already more than 100 up so far. Last week I posted a vlog where I take you along with my new early morning routine, and you can also even see me catch and release a spider. Oh, I can't believe I have to do this. Oh my god, I got the spider. Good stuff. We also have tea time chats, deep dives into minimalism and intentional living, books I'm loving, things I'm cooking, and a lot more. It's also just a really nice community, so if you want to, you can go to patreon.com/simplehappyzen to sign up. It's also a great way to help me keep making these videos here on YouTube, so win-win. Also, don't forget to check out Ruby Cup and get 15% off, link and discount code in the description box. These have really been a game changer for me when it comes to my periods, and it's really not as scary or daunting as you might think. And as always, questions, comments, conversations down below. Thank you so much for being here. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I will see you all again next week. Bye bye. So I made my first vegan mac and cheese yesterday, and I made it from scratch with a sauce from cashews and nutritional yeast. I couldn't believe how easy this was, and it was so tasty, so it's kind of on my mind today.